Hello, welcome to Bite Size. I'm your host, David Byrne. Today, we're going to be talking about what I think is one of the most important issues we're going to talk about on this channel: how to address the two-party system in America and restore informed voting. We're going to be doing this with write-in elections. But let's talk a little bit about what issues are we trying to address. Independent and minor parties have massive hurdles to overcome before they're able to get on ballots. In the state of Georgia, where I currently am, where I'm currently running for office, the state law requires that minor parties and independents get 1% of the total voter population to sign petitions to get them on the ballot. For example, currently RFK, Robert F. Kennedy, is running as an independent. And under the state law, though this has been overturned, but the state law still requires that he get 1% of the total population of Georgia to sign a petition to get him on the ballot. The Georgia Supreme Court said that was too high, so it is currently overruled, but the law is still on the books, and it hasn't been changed. We all know that candidates in the Republican Party, in the Democrat Party, the Green Party, pick any party, they all have to swing to the far extreme of their party in order to get the primary voters, because those are your active voters, right? They care a lot about an issue. They think, hey, we really need to address this, right? We all know that really kind of pushes it to the far right, far left, or whatever party you're a part of. But most of us are in the middle. Most of us want the same thing, or at least a variation of the same thing. And reality is small portions of the population vote in primaries. I believe there's 30,000 registered Republicans in my district, 25 to 30,000, only 12,000 of those will vote in the primary. So half. And it varies across, right? Because it's not the general election. And to use my district where I'm currently running for office, Georgia House District 131, 12,000 people will vote in the Republican primary. To win the primary, I need to get 6,001 of those votes in order to avoid a runoff. Because this district is 65% Republican, whoever wins this Republican primary will win the general election. It's just the way it is. So that means I need to get 6,001 votes in the Republican primary, if there's only 12,000 primary voters, and I will represent 53,000 people. Think about that. So what is that? 12% of the voting population will vote for me, and then I'm able to represent all of them. I don't really like it. I don't know about you. So how do we address this? There's a one-stop solution: write-in voting for everyone. You would actually have to know your candidate that you're voting for, especially in the general election, right? You couldn't just go down, you see on the top right, that's a straight party where you can just bubble it in. I want to vote Republican, Democrat, or Libertarian. It just all those candidates, that's who you voted for. By doing write-in only, we're able to say, okay, you have to know. Everyone's probably going to know your presidential candidate, right? But by the time you get to me, state representative, a lot of people won't even know. And if you don't know, that's okay. But you shouldn't be voting for someone that you don't know what their values are. You don't know if they're really a good person. You don't know why they're running. Sure, they're a member of your party, but why are they running? What do they want to do? Do they want to work for you? The parties are huge, and so you're going to have a lot of diverse opinions in them. So now we would restore informed voting. We'd also turn primaries into endorsements rather than selections. Like I said, whoever the Republican Party selects as the candidate out of the primary, whoever the Republican primary voters vote for, will win the general, and it becomes just a selection. By doing a write-in, we would turn it into an endorsement. Now, how does that really work? How does it turn into an endorsement? Because now I could just, as a candidate, I could say, you know what? I don't want to cater to the core Republican or possibly right electors, or my opponent, right, on the Democrat side. She wants to go for the, far left in order to win the Democratic primary. Instead, a candidate could just say, you know what? I want to get everyone in the center. Look at the political bell curve in the bottom left-hand corner of this screen. Someone could simply decide, I want to go and I want to get all of the votes for the conservative Democrats, the independents, and the moderate Republicans, because I am the candidate for everyone. And there are more people in the center than there are on the extremes. A candidate could say, if I win the primary, great, but I'm not going for it. I'm going for the general election as a people's candidate, and I'm going to get everyone's vote. Everyone in the center, that is, which is the vast majority of the population. It would allow people to stay in the center and not have to swing to the political extremes to win primaries. And I think that's critical for bringing our society back together. Something else that's happened in the 2024 presidential election is Democrat states have threatened and are attempting and have, in some cases, actively removed former President Donald Trump from the ballot based on previous actions and whatever other shenanigans. I know I'm diminishing in some people's opinion what actually happened, but I don't want to dive in this. This is not about Trump. This is about how secretaries of state and governments are controlling ballot access for voters, which I think is wrong. And in some cases, I'll even go to the other side. Republican states have talked about ways to get Joe Biden, or current president Joe Biden, off the ballot. It's wrong in every case. So what do we do with write-in elections? Now, there is no removing anyone from the ballot. People can vote for whoever they want. There's no control. We've now taken away the ability to say, hey, we're going to take these people off the ballot because we don't like them. We are taking that away and we're restoring the power to the people. I want to focus on one last thing. So before we leave this slide, write-in voting. Some people have terrible handwriting. No judgment, but there's a real easy solution. When we all took the SAT, we all bubbled in our names below who we wrote it for. That's how you do it. That's how you make it so you can easily scan and quickly get through who people voted for. You feed them into a scanning machine, done. So it's not like it'll add time. It doesn't have to. It could be just as simple as current voting mechanisms, if not even simpler. We could feed them through a SAT scanning machine, for example. So to waylay any concerns for that. And I just want to end on this. When candidates can focus on the general election and cater to the center, and they don't need to cater to the extremes in order to win the primary, our country will come back together, because people and candidates will finally be able to say, I can, as a candidate, I would be able to go to a Democrat door, a moderate Democrat. I'd be able to go to a moderate Republican. I'd be able to go to independents and say, hey, I want to be your candidate. That's the key. That's how we bring our country back together. We make it so that candidates trying to win office can cross the political line. Right now, if you cross the political line, it's political suicide. When we allow candidates actively running to cater across party lines, we will have restored the ability for our country to work together. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for coming back to Bite Size. This may have been a little bit more than just bite size, but I appreciate you joining. As you can tell, this is an issue I'm very passionate about. I hope to see you next time on Bite Size. Next time I'll try to keep it short, try to keep it a little more brief. My name is David Byrne. Please like and subscribe this channel as we talk about more ways and real solutions that we can bring our country back together and address the issues that we're facing. Thank you, everyone.